You're good.
Okay, so everybody's fine with leaving the public hearing open on the PDD question, so we're gonna leave that open, okay. We're gonna jump around a little bit. We're gonna talk about Hamilton Brown, Bushnell Shore. We've got a couple of folks here that got some questions, I think. Highlander won the bid for $731,800. I think high bid, Beth, was what, 1.2 million? So we budgeted 650, so we're in the ballpark, which we're very lucky. So we got to try to rustle up about $80,000 or $100,000, which I think we can do easy enough. So
Highlander is the apparent low bidder, and John Dunkel's office sent us. They've looked through the documentation. The one thing I'll mention is that the low bid came in higher than what was in our map planning report. By law, we are required to, at a minimum, hold another public hearing because we're going to exceed the maximum amount proposed to be expended. We've done this before. We've been in contact with the comptroller because we told the comptroller nobody in the district is going to pay a penny more than they were going to in the first place. The gentleman we deal with in the comptroller, who's a lawyer, originally told us the other day, I think you have to file another comptroller application. This is our friend that we talked to. Nice enough guy. We had him on the phone again today, and we got him reconsidering that notion. So before you, I mean, if you did an award, you'd have to do it kind of, conditionally to make sure we get that we don't need to go back to the comptroller because that could slow us down.
we've got 60 days. So bids are good for 60 days. I think our comptroller, that does a great job, is going to look at moving some money around and changing some money around and looking at our different options so we can fall within the window of what we need to so we can get this thing financed and get it moving along. As I've said before, it's been 30 years, so it'd be nice to get this done for these folks.
So John, if we do this at that low bid, which is great, it's a little bit over what we had said, the requirement would be hold an additional public hearing at the next meeting, which is on the 20th. I would have a resolution ready for you to schedule that public hearing for the further meeting out to meet that requirement. And by then I will know that the comptroller is going to sign off on our position that we don't need their approval. And
Okay.
I'm fairly confident they're going to agree with that. And I called Tom, I called Tom Myers, and he agrees with our legal opinion that it's permissible to do all this, and he will sign a bond counsel opinion that we're good for that, which is the thing I'm really more concerned is he'll sign it. And then we'll work with the comptroller contact, and we're confident he's going to understand that from a public policy standpoint, there's no real need to go back to the comptroller again. If people are going to pay what they were going to pay before, and the money we're going to find is not going to be a loan.
It's most likely going to be ARPA funds, which I call it, there's 3 different categories. There's a no-brainer category, a gray area category, and a no-way category. And the no-brainer category is water, sewer infrastructure, mental health, senior programming, certain senior programming, that kind of thing. You just can't use it for anything you want. And water, sewer infrastructure is one of the first things, so that falls right in the category. So we're going to use some of the money for that.
Yep. So can we have that on the agenda for the next meeting?
So you want to schedule a public hearing for the next meeting for the Hamilton Brown?
It'll be at the next meeting. We would be on to announce this how we're doing this, and then schedule a public hearing for the first meeting in November. And I believe at that time we'll know for sure about the comptroller's position on that, and we'll still be able to make the award within the 60 days. Okay, with plenty of room left over.
Folks, yes, sir.
Sean, County Assessor on Hamilton Brown. The question I have is, regardless of what the comptroller says, you're scheduling a public hearing. Is that just a formality on your end for legal purposes?
It's a formality for legal purposes. We have to under the law. That's a good question.
So the neighbors all need to show up for that meeting?
They can.
The one in November?
No, well, no, you don't have to show up for the next meeting where we schedule a public hearing for the November meeting, but you're certainly allowed to do that, or send an email saying in support of it. The key here that John's saying is that even though the bids came in higher, and they're coming in higher in every single project I've been working on for the last year because of COVID, that you as a consumer, as the person that helped pays for this, will not be paying more than what was listed in those project documents, because the town is finding this money to help bridge that gap. And that's the position we're taking with the comptroller, why we don't have to go back to the comptroller again and have him do a full review. When the comptroller's review is all about the public policy of, is this water district cost too burdensome to the taxpayer? It's not gonna be any more burdensome than it was when they approved it a few months ago. And that's sort of the argument we're making. And on the phone today, he was very receptive to that. He just had to talk to some superiors.
Communication between the neighbors there has been better, and I just want to make sure I didn't have to tell them they need to come for something else.
They don't have to, they don't have
No,
to.
we're pretty much on a glide path now, and as soon as we okay everything, we'll get a handle from Dunkel, our engineer, on when they can start construction. So they thought they could get the pipe, and it's available for them, so we talked to them at the bid opening. Okay, anything else? Good, okay, thank you very much. Okay, we'll jump right back up to the opting out of the local law introduction and public hearing for November 3rd for the cannabis. I need a motion for that, please.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by John B., second.
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Ranger. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Carried. Okay, Miss Stevens trailer, who we've done for the past, how many years has this been? 8 years? 2013?
Yeah, I think it's 2013.
2013. The mother-in-law has lived a long time.
Hanging in there.
She's hanging in there, yes. So we've done this every year for her. We've never had a problem. So I need a motion for that, please.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Martin, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bruskevich. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye. Anybody opposed? Carried. Okay, next we have, Andy's got a couple pieces of equipment that he's going to sell the town of Fenner. One is a paver. The other is, our old Gradall. We are buying a new Gradall. $15,000 correct for both pieces?
Yes.
So I need a motion to surplus them and sell them.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Martin, second.
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Ranger. Is there any discussion?
This is as is with no warranties.
Correct.
All in favor signify by voting aye. Anybody opposed? Carried. Okay, next, advertise Gradall for Auctions International. Andy and I have talked. We think we can get over $50,000 for the gray Gradall. We're kind of in the sweet spot on that, and there's a lot of smaller towns that can't afford a new machine and looking for a good used one. So we'd like to put that on Auctions International to see what we can get for it. I need a motion for that, please.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Martin,
I'll second it.
second by Mr. Kopp. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Okay, Gary Hamilton Brown, we have budget modifications. Transferring $50,000 from A 599 appropriated fund balance to A 9901.9 transfers out to other funds. The board is carrying these for general funds, the highway department for paving the highway parking lot, garage parking lot. Transferring $50,000 from DB 5031 transfers in from other funds to DB 51 12.2 for CHIPS improvements. This is a receive the funds from the general fund and the highway fund for paving on the 2021 amount. Transferring $2,000 from A1110.2 justice equipment to A1110.1115 justice part-time clerks as per their request for judges to hire a part-time clerk. And 3, transferring $5,000 from contingent A 1990.4 for consulting fees to A 1315.406. This is the pay upon a deal for the assistance with the ARPA funds. So, we need a motion.
John.
Motion was made by Mr. Martin for all 3. Second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bruskevich. Is there any discussion? Mr. Ranger?
Aye.
Mr. Kopp?
Aye.
Mr. Martin?
Aye.
Mr. Bruskevich?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Carried. Okay, next I have the log jam removal, and it's 2,500. I told you a budget time, I thought it was 10,000, it's 2,500 that they're looking for. So I need a motion for that. Motion by Mr. Verskevich, second. Second by Mr. Kopp. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Carried. Okay, so we'll get that off to them. Okay, firefighter applications. We do have a couple of those. Andy, did you have anything else for us?
I do, on the road inventory.
Yes, that's right.
So, in order to add, we have a couple roads in, the Poolsbrook development and also down in, Harbor Town that were not added to our inventory, which our CHIPS money is based on that. So we have to approve that.
Is that the resolution I put together?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I think you guys have it. There's a couple of the road, one of them is a new road. Harbor Town has never been put in as a town road, as a public road.
Yep.
And a couple of them have been added on as far as Whisper Ridge, that last development, or the last part of the development, so.
So there's a resolution I sent on that.
I'd like to move that resolution, we have those.
Okay, motion's been made.
I'll second.
Second. Second by Mr. Kopp. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Carried. Okay, now we're on firefighter applications. You got anything else, Amy?
Nope, that's it, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, we have Mr. Spear from Chittenango Volunteer Fire Department. Need a motion for Mr. Spear.
I'll make that.
Motion by Mr. Cotton, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Verskevich. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Carried. Okay. Next we have a Miss Natasha Hoos, also from Chittenango Volunteer Fire Department. So I'll need a motion for that, please.
So moved, John.
Motion made by Mr. Martin, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Verskevich. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
They all come from other departments, so they all have some experience. One has 23 years experience, and the one's a young girl that was at the Cleveland Fire Department.
Did I have an A? Here, use the A, right?
No, it's,
You were okay, right?
That's 5-0, right?
Yeah. 5-0.
She's got a good name for the working for the fire department.
that's right.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything for us?
Is anybody here to sign an easement with me tonight? How did I say their
He
name?
said he was gonna email you, did he?
He
didn't
did.
respond.
I know. I told him I was gonna be here early. He said he had to work late, so I said if we don't get together today, he can catch me on Friday at my dad's office.
Okay.
So I think he's okay. But if I missed him, I didn't wanna make him show up. I wonder if he showed up and saw the crowd here and then
Probably.
decided not to wait. And,
Blue was hard and.
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
But I think he's fine. We'll get him.
Yeah, no, he's got it.
Yeah.
Okay, Tom.
It's for more Chittenango residents, but Steve, the Syracuse Metropolitan Transportation Council in 2020, the village and the town requested a study on that, and they did a very thorough job. It was on traffic, improving the pedestrian walks and for cyclists, and there is a video on YouTube that explains their study. It's very well done. On October 13th, from 4 to 5:30, there's going to be a Zoom video with questions and answers for them. If anybody's interested, give me a call or Bob French a call. He'll know how to get on that. But they're really trying to do some things with Tuscarora Road.
and they're proposing a traffic circle at Tuscarora and Bolivar Road.
That's one of the things is, in there.
Mr. Dirt,
And about 5 raised crosswalks.
so Mr.
Yeah.
Dirt, you wanna see the biggest piece of equipment go around that circle, for
Yeah.
the first guy around it.
That's one of the detrimental is, emergency equipment and, farm equipment around it. It's in the study, you know. But I know I go over there a lot to Bolivar Landing, and it's pretty dangerous spot.
Okay, anybody else have anything? Yes,
I
Nancy.
have a question. The
Good to
land-
see you, by the way.
Thank you, it's good to be here. The landfill has a phone number, but when you dial it, it rings and rings and rings. So when I was there Saturday, I said, how come no one ever answers the phone? He says, well, ever since they monkeyed with wires and took some wires out of here, he says, we haven't had a phone.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I was, you know, who's in charge?
Now, where is that? Over here to
Yeah,
Sullivan?
Bolivar Road.
Okay, Bolivar.
Yes, yes.
Hopefully they weren't enjoying the peace.
No.
They did show up to fix it.
What?
This was a while back, but somehow the neighbor was involved in tearing wires down.
Oh, really?
And Verizon did show up to fix it, but the first time they showed up, the gate was closed, they couldn't get in. The second time they showed up, I don't know what the problem was, why they couldn't reattach it, but you'll have to get that.
Yeah, I'll find out from
logistics
IT first thing in the morning.
But I know Verizon was there twice,
All right,
and
yeah.
so, and no, they're not missing the phone ring.
Okay, anything else? All right, Steve, you got anything for us? Motion to go into executive session for, advice of council, please. Motion by Mr. Burskevich, second. Second by Mr. Martin. Any discussion? All in favor,
Extra water.
signify by voting aye.
Aye.
David, you just stay. Lucky you.
So Joe is specifically inviting.
He tried to sneak out.
So you want these chairs put in a pile?
No, go ahead. No, you're fine.
So wait, we're good. You've adjourned the meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
We're gonna adjourn it.
We're not taking any action.
No, we won't be taking any action.
There will be some action, because I need to get this approved.
What is it?
This is the training course, I want to send Lori.
Why don't you do that now then?
Well, let's do that now before
Before
we
you
go
go.
into executive session.
Before you go in.
Alright.
Do you want, wait, so you still want
So
me
we're
to
gonna stay
record?
open for a minute.
I'm recommending that we send Lori and Louis to a training course. It's Park and Recreation Management. It's sanctioned by the National Recreation and Park Association. It is one of the first things that we should be providing them some training with the responsibilities that we've given them. It will cost $5,000 to do this, and they have money in the budget. Louis was scheduled to go to it before COVID hit, and we approved him before. So what I'm doing is just asking us to reinstate this and approve it.
Motion? So moved. Motion by Mr. Martin, second. Second by Mr. Kopp. Any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Carried. Okay, now we're going to executive session.
So, do you have to adjourn it or anything?
We're adjourned.